Coach, you are playing Sundowns this week. You are in the preparations, day -2. Give us just a summary of what's going on in the camp and your preparations before we hand over to members of the media.
Yeah, good morning to the members of the media and everyone. We all know it's a big one. It's going to be a tough one. Playing against a team that has been doing very well, the current champions, and the team that is on top of the log. So obviously our preparations are as usual in terms of our microcycle. So far so good. The boys have responded positively. They've been working very hard and we're looking forward to the game.
Please carry on with your first question.
Coach, I'm looking at the Sundowns, the way they are on a cruise mode. And if you can look at how they've been playing in their recent game, they've recently set and took the record that was shared by them and Kaizer Chiefs. At the moment, everything favors them. They've gone into the 11th game, they're creating new records every day. Then how do you keep your boys focused on such a match, knowing very well that the last time you played, they gave you a heavy score?
It's very, very key from our side to run our race. I've always said this, we're running our race, we're taking one game, at a time. We don't want to focus on Sundowns. Yes, we'll profile Sundowns because we're playing against Sundowns, but we don't have to put ourselves under pressure and be more worried about Sundowns. Should be worried about ourselves as to how we can maybe rectify the mistakes that we made in the past that have let us down. And I think so far that's where the focus is, and the guys have been doing very well when it comes to it.
Sure, Coach. Daniel from City Press. Coach, what do you make of the view that your team is still lacking leadership on the park, especially when it comes to experience, because everyone is actually looking at the dominance, particularly of academy players on the field, and then they are saying, Arthur's babes wants then the chance against Sundowns. What do you make of this view, so-called lack of leadership on the park from experienced players, more experienced?
Yeah, look, football is a game of opportunities. We've got our senior players who are not available for this game, who haven't been available due to injuries and unforeseen, circumstances. And we had to obviously give the young ones, the young guns, the opportunity, to express themselves and showcase their talents. And some of them, they did grab the opportunity with both hands. And we had to continue where we left off with them, and because at the end of the day, it's about the future of this club. And if we don't, we're not going to give these boys the opportunity to play. When are we going to give them the opportunity in actual fact, So, as I said, some of them, they've done well so far. And because we're thinking about the future of the club, we're also thinking about what we can do in the future. We obviously in the rebuilding phase, we're trying to build a way of playing, as much as the results are fluctuating. But I've seen a lot of positive things that have come out of what we've been doing ever since the beginning of the season. And at some point you'll pay the price, when you play with the youngsters. You pay the price in terms of the mistakes that they will commit. Obviously the game is the teacher, and most of them, as you can see, they're improving, and the more they play, the more they gain experience.
Coach, are you, just want to pick your brain on this one, are you surprised that maybe after 15, 16 games into the league, we have a Sundowns team? I'll talk about Chiefs and Pirates because on paper, these are the teams that are direct competitors to Sundowns in terms of challenging them. Are you surprised to see the points gap, 19-21? What does it say about currently the standard of the PSL, where you have the leaders being so dominant from their rivals?
It talks about the continuity. you know, the continuity is everything in football. When you look at where they come from, you know, how they started building, they also had challenges. They were in a situation where no one saw this thing becoming a beast or something unstoppable, you know. And it's because of the patience that they, you know, they had and the belief, you know, in the technical team then. And when the head coach left, then the continuity was there as well. So we as a club, as I said, we're focusing on ourselves. You know, it's not by mistake that they are grinding results week in, week out. You know, but you must have seen they've also created their own luck because of the way they play. You look at the past 2 games that they've played. When you look at the performance of other teams as well, we're just unfortunate not to score goals. Maybe the game ended in a draw. You know. So that's football for you. You know, you create your own luck, and they've done well so far, and credit should be given to them. You know, so obviously it's a challenge to us to look at ourselves and do introspection and see where we can improve to challenge them.
Charles Barret from the SABC. Coach, football in Hawaii.
To be quite honest, I'm not worried. I'm not worried because we have a plan as a club, a plan that needs to be executed. And if you look back for how many years we've been trying to hit the ground running, did it work for the club? It did not work. And whether you like it or not, at the end of the day, we have to do something. And there's many other teams that we can make an example of in Europe. You go to Arsenal right now, why are they doing well? It's because they had so much patience and belief in whoever that they put in there, and also give him the opportunity and space, you know, to try and work things out. And yeah, the results, you can see the results for yourself. You know, I'm not saying, I don't want to compare, and I'm not saying we can do exactly what Arsenal is doing, but what I'm just making an example that if we know what we are doing, we have a plan. We have a plan and we want to execute the plan. Obviously, we need time, and you will also pay the price when it comes to, in terms of, you pay the price with the results. The results will be fluctuating because you're trying to get something going. You want to improve on certain things, and at the end of the day, if you're not going to get it right, someone that's going to come in future, you'll get a team that obviously now can easily, you know, grind results. Why? Because there'll be a way of playing, there'll be identity, there'll also a way of saying whoever that we want from outside, it's easy. The system itself will profile that player. So the system will profile the players, and the coach is going for it. It's not about Arthur Zwane, it's not about individuals, it's about the future of this club, you know. So having said that, I'm not worried about myself losing my job, because I knew that when I took over this job, at some point I'm going to have to, you know, give other people the opportunity. What I didn't know was for how long I'm going to be, you know, in this position. But at this present moment, you know, I've got a task that I have to fulfill, and I'm doing exactly what the team has asked me, you know, to do.
Coach Kaizer from the DStv Times. Christian Sali, they said, is about to sign for Chiefs, and there's also talk of the Cloakwood from Supersport United. Can you just give a potential update on that? And is there going to be any U-turns on some of the trials, like what happened to Caleb after, you know, leaving and then coming back to sign? Or have you made a final decision on the trials really during the break?
When it comes to trials, I've given my technical report, you know, to the management of the club. They'll obviously get back to me, actually to us as technical staff. So we'll wait for them because obviously it's you know, it's a process. And when it comes to new players that are coming in, that will come in future, like I said, we are forever looking for players. We always want to sign quality players that are available. But at the present moment, you know, we want to decide as to whom we think can come and add value, you know. And until then, and yes, we will take it from there.
Thank you very much, Coach. We're taking the last two. We'll start with you if your hand has been up.
Coach, you give Arsenal as an example, and when you look at them, I think they've invested in terms of buying players, you know, bringing in players and having that balance between, you know, quality players and youth players. Do you feel that's an element that still lacks here? Is it part of the plan to invest and get good players to bring that balance in your squad?
As I've alluded earlier on, I said you can't just buy players for the sake of buying players. You first have to build a system and have pillars in place. And then that system itself now will make life easy for us to go and identify the players that we think are good enough, they've got the qualities of coming, and value. Arsenal, that's what they've done, and that is why you can see now their journey becoming, much easier and successful. It's simply because of that. If you look at the team that Arteta started with, yes, there was a lot of youngsters playing with energy and all that. I think he just brought in this season, this beginning of the season, about 3 or 4 players, not 8 or 9 players. So you have to build a structure, you have to build a way of playing, and also have core. That core now will make life easy going forward. And there's no shortcut about it, unfortunately.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning,
Kaizer
sir.
from Sport 24. Just talk us through the magnitude of a Chiefs Sundowns game. Everyone will talk about the derby and that being the biggest game, and understandably so. But on the other hand, when Chiefs or Pirates play Sundowns, a lot of people talk about the quality of the game and the less pressure that comes with it as compared to a derby.
Most definitely, you can't compare the two. But when it comes to us, we treat all the game with respect. Same, approach. Because at the end of the day, what is at stake? It's 3 points. If it's a cup game, then we have to go through to the next round. But when it comes to Chiefs and Pirates, the history is unbelievable. So I don't think we can compare the two. The derby is at another level.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about the issue of a club as big as Chiefs having to bring players on trials in this day and era. That somehow raises questions about the club's scouting network. Why would a club as big as Chiefs go as far as bringing in players on trials instead of profiling them, going to watch them while they're playing and all of that? Is that a route that Chiefs is now taking, to be bringing players on trials? Doesn't that raise questions about the club scouting? Because the trends in this day and era, there's so much access about players that you can profile a player without having to bring him on trial here at the club. Why is the club going in that route?
To be honest with you, we are not, conducting trials or doing trials. All the players that you've seen here coming to try out their luck, we profile them first. But we wanted to see them closely. We wanted to monitor them closely and be sure about what we are doing. Because a player, you can see him performing where else. Most of the time right now, when you are given a footage of the player playing, you may find out that player, the last time he played was 2 seasons ago, but he will show it, as if he's scoring goals right now. So we try and follow that player, and do a proper research about that individual and make sure that as soon as he comes here, we know what we're looking for. Because they only show him scoring goals if he's a striker. They only show him winning, his 1v1 battles in the middle if he's a defensive midfielder. I'm just making that example. But you don't see many other aspects that can, help the player to tick or come and add value. So those are not the things that we're looking for. And that is why we're taking that route of inviting those players. We are not doing trials. It's a case of we want to assess him, and have a closer look so that we can make a decision. It's best for us right now because we've brought in players in the past that we saw them, that we profile them, but because of Kaizer Chiefs is a different beast. When they come here, when they arrive here, then the pressure, when the pressure mounts, then they can't cope. And then now, when it comes to the club, we suffer again. We have to go out and look for another player. So we're trying to avoid that. We can't repeat the same mistake, many times as if we don't see what is happening. So we're trying to avoid that in actual fact.
Coach, going back to this coming weekend against Sundowns, You look at that Chiefs have conceded 20 goals this season, conceded more than they have scored. Do you still feel that playing a 4-3-3 system where you are playing with full backs remains effective, whereas perhaps going into this match where it will be a high intensity match, perhaps a 3-4-3 with wing backs could work against a team that has proven that they've got technical insurance?
Like any other team, you know, we've got our weaknesses, they've got their weaknesses. And as I've alluded earlier on, that when you watch the 2 last games that they've played, they were just unfortunate. When you look at other teams, how they exerted themselves, they took the game to them, they were just unfortunate not at least to get a point. And luck is on their side at the moment, but let alone that, they are also a very good team that is doing very well for themselves, and because you can see that there is chemistry within the squad. You understand what I'm saying? So the focus is not on Sundowns with us. The focus is on us, because we've been making mistakes that have been costly, and we're trying to work on that, we're trying to improve on that. And going forward, we know we can score at any given time. Unfortunately, the last game that we played, we couldn't score, but you look at the number of chances that we created, you know, we're just unfortunate not to score. So the focus is on us as Kaizer Chiefs, not on Sundowns.
Go with Temba and close with Temba.
Coach, I'm just tempted to ask you about your bravery. I mean, I saw a Shabalala getting a run, you know, and Ngobo getting a run, we're starting the lineup, and often fans will say they want to see young players coming in, and you've done that. I see that the DDC has got your young McCarthy, your Mfundo Vilagazi. What is your plan when it comes to the integration of the youngsters from across the road into the side, into the main team? What is your plan based on that? I mean, not looking at the result, not forgetting the results, but that you also need to get results. As Arthur Zwane and your technical team, where's your space on that? Is there as much hope for the young boys on the other side that they're coming in? And what's the time span that you've got for them? And on the second one, just a quick one, it's 2 boys from the south of Soweto, from the north of Soweto, Middlelands and Orlando, who will be playing against each other in such a big match. What does that say about local coaches and the standard of football coaching in terms of mentoring of our former players and of our administrators into coaching, when you look at that this game is one of the biggest games in the calendar, and it's 2 Soweto boys against each other?
Yeah, I'll start with the integration of players. I think we've done tremendously well, and we will focus on that, because it's very, very, very key, you know, for the club, for the fact that the chairman has invested, you know, in this project. It is very, very key for us not to neglect it. As right now, we're paying the price because of neglecting it in the past. So the focus is on that right now, but trying also to strike a balance. And as I said, we've done well so far. Unfortunately, the results have been fluctuating, but I think we're in a position where we can redeem ourselves. And as time goes on, we know that as soon as, you know, everything, you know, gets well and we gel as a team, then we'll start grinding results again, you know. But when you look at Duduzi himself, when you look at Mshini, when you look at Zwane, you know, they've done well. They've done well. And as I said, it's a game of opportunities. It's because of some of the senior players, you know, due to injuries, they are unavailable. And now the boys are coming in and doing very well. And also those who will be coming from, you know, who are training with us. We're very, very close, us and the development. We just, you know, street across. So we walk across, they walk across. So that's the reason we have the development. Otherwise, we should close the development if we're not going to take full advantage of using the players. The 2 coaches, yeah, look, it's good for, I don't want to say for Soweto. It's good for South African football. It's good for South Africa at large. It's good for other coaches, young and upcoming coaches who also want to, you know, be in the position that you are in, not knowing how hard it is, you know, to lead, you know, in such a big team, and also what Coach Rulani is doing a great job with the support that he's getting from Coach Steve and Coach Mangoba and from the club as well. So that is why it is benefiting South African football.
We close with you.
Yeah, Space from the SABC. Coach, other PSL coaches have already considered that it's going to be impossible for other teams to stop, you know, the defending champions. I just need to get your thoughts. Do you feel or think that other teams can still mount a serious challenge and give Sundowns for a run for their money?
Yeah.
Look, in the remainder of the season.
Look, as I said, we are running our own race, and I remember saying it's gonna go down to the wire that time, because I fancied our chances, like any other coach. And when you look at the coaches who said whatever that they said that the league is gone already, when you look at their teams, where were their teams? They were out, obviously. So it was easy for them to say that. But for me and many and other coaches who stand a good chance of challenging, we couldn't say that. There is no way I can be the head coach of Kaizer Chiefs and then and give up. And then what do I want? Why do I want to be the head coach of Kaizer Chiefs when I give up so easily? I can't do that. Yes, it looks like Sundowns, they've taken it, but we're still not going to give up. Because this is football. I've seen things happening. I've seen Pirates leading Kaizer Chiefs with 15 points. We went all the way to win the league. Not because of Pirates they did badly, not because of when we lost the league to Sundowns with 13 points leading the league, Chiefs was bad that time, but because of things they do happen. So I can't give up, and I'm not putting ourselves under pressure. And I'm not saying again we're going to win the league. All I'm saying was that time, I had to say that as the head coach of Kaizer Chiefs, that whoever that was talking was in the position number 15. And us, we were in the position, with that time we were position 4. And when you look at the points gap was 10 points that time. So we stand a good chance of competing. And for that matter, we are Kaizer Chiefs. We play to win every game. Unfortunately, the results have been fluctuating.
Coach Arthur Zwane, thank you very much. Ambassador Nigeria, thank you. We joined by the players.